okay, I admit I was wrong. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, you better get it now. We just got our shirts back in the stock. You better get it now before they sell out over the weekend. Here you go, right here. Fathers Matter. Get it now. Now, you ain't gonna get it before Father's Day, but at least you can have it if you wanted this shirt. We had thousands of people that requested to have this shirt. We didn't win and got all this stock, so go get it now. Use promo code United We Stand, and for YouTube only, you can get 20% off for all of my people that follow me. You can get it in the black or you can get it in the blue. Go and order it now. I guarantee you, you're going to see the icon up here. It's going to sell out before Monday. So you better get on here and get as much as you can because everybody else is going to be doing the same thing you're doing. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to my channel. Let's get into this. I want to apologize and say that I was wrong. For the first time in my life, I've been wrong about something. And I wouldn't say I was necessarily wrong. It was that I did not have all the information that I needed to make a proper assessment. And some people are probably in your mind, you're thinking of all kind of things that you thought that I was wrong about. But you're probably going to be disappointed because I was actually right about what you thought. But I was incorrect and did not have the full information about the cattle that had passed away in Kansas. The story has reported, or the story is being reported, that there was at least 10,000 cattle that had passed away due to a heat wave. Now, in my mind, because I have zero adequate knowledge around cattle ranching, and also I have skepticism that's a mile long when it comes to our government, and I'm slightly a conspiracy theorist, I believe that there could have been a nefarious cause to the cattle losing their lives. However, because of great people like you guys that listen to the show, there were two people that called me that there are a couple. They called me. They listened to my show on YouTube, and they said, hey, Brandon, can we talk to you? We want to give you some better information about the cattle out there in Southwest Kansas. And I said, let's do it. They called me on the phone, and this is what they told me. That the death of the 10,000 cattle is not abnormal. If you're a cattle rancher, it's not abnormal for a heat wave to cause this level of death. And the significant points that I took from the conversation that I had with them is that little do you know, many of us, how many cattle are actually out there. From the information that they told me, that there could be anywhere from 500,000 cattle in what they call feedlots. And what a feedlot is they graze out in the pasture, and then they bring them to the feedlot, and they plump them up. They try to get them as big and juicy as possible. It takes about a 6-month period to do that. They feed them a lot, and they go from there, and they go to the slaughter. And so these particular cattle that had died from the heat exhaustion, they were in the feedlot preparing to be for their lives to end in a slaughter. And according to what my friends, and the guy's name is Ben, and his wife's name is Sharon, according to what they were telling me, is that this could have been an incident of mismanagement by the cattle ranchers, meaning that when they're in the feedlot, when there's a heat wave that's about to come, you probably need to back off on the feed a little bit so they're not completely filled with this high protein diet where they really have no capacity to cool down, and they're all packed in there like sardines in this feedlot, and not being able to cool off and recover, they pass away. And I'll just give you an example of what the young man told me. And I say young man, what do I want to do, call him an old man? I don't know how old they were, but what Ben told me is that he had experiences with cattle passing away from, I think, a friend's farm, and they were losing about 250 a day for 30 days straight. If you do the math, that's a lot of cattle. So it's not abnormal for things like this to happen. So all of us conspiracy theorists out there, we probably want to take a second guess at this and do a little more information. Another number that stuck out to me was that there's about 27,000 cattle per day that are headed to the slaughter to put on the table for you and I to eat. and I want to thank them for their service because I love me a ribeye steak cooked medium. So shout out to all the cattle out there giving their lives so that we can be happy. But there was 27,000 cattle a day being processed to put on the table. So when you look at the grand scheme of things, there's probably millions of cattle. There's 27,000 heads of cattle, and this is, processed per day in this particular area in Kansas. That's not a significant. 10,000 is not a significant number. And the government is not going to go out their way to kill 10,000 cattle. Now, I'm going to be honest. I know that you were thinking the same thing because I was thinking it. To me, not having any experience in cattle ranching, I thought that 10,000 cattle were a lot. That was a lot of cattle to have died at one time. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to report to you that it wasn't. And I was incorrect about it. At least my theory was incorrect. And also for the people out there that have a soft spot for cattle, and you saw the cattle stiff as a ironing board sitting out there bloating, and you probably feel really bad because you think that those cattle are probably going to go and die somewhere, a lonely death. What they're actually going to do to those cattle is they're going to grind them up and from the nose to the tail and put them in your dog food. So if you ever wonder where your dog is getting his food from, it's these cattle that are bloating that they chop up and they feed to dogs, and they use the hide and everything else. It's not safe for humans to consume them, so you're not going to have them in the consumption. However, let me move on to another point. I think, and this is just me talking, we as conservatives also have to be careful about misleading misinformation. Now, we may not attempt to do it, but my theory has always been, if it sounds too juicy, do some research. And I should have used my own principle in this one, is that I should have done a little more research, because 10,000 cattle just dropping dead overnight and no explanation, that sounds a little too juicy. Doing a little research, we know now that wasn't a weird occurrence. But also we've seen this in many other situations as well. Uvalde, people have jumped the gun at Uvalde, and they were wrong. People jumped the gun in Ahmaud Arbery's case with the Travis and Gregory McMichael. To this day, I still feel that they did not get the proper justice in the court of law. I think that they should not have never been found guilty for what they considered to be murdering Ahmaud Arbery. I think I said Ahmaud Arbery the first time. I don't think they should have been found guilty. I talked to a couple of lawyer friends, and it all comes down to the jury instructions that were given. Some of you guys probably don't even remember the Travis McMichael case because, now it's gone away. They got another social justice case out there where they claiming that white men are hunting down black men. I don't think that Travis McMichael or Gregory Michael should have ever gotten arrested, to be honest. And I'll give a quick synopsis on that. And I know I jump around, but it's my show. So a quick synopsis on that is that, originally people thought that Ahmaud Arbery was just jogging. This is the situation that happened in Georgia where they had the white guys on the back of the truck. People thought that Ahmaud Arbery and them was just jogging around, which Ahmaud Arbery wasn't jogging around. He was breaking into houses and being a complete thug. And they ended up trying to conduct a citizen's arrest. Would I have done that? In hindsight, I would have never done that, especially if I was white and he was black, because you know how that goes. But he grabbed the gun and they end up shooting him in self-defense, and now they're going to prison for life. Even Roddy Bryant, he got charged, and he wasn't even participating in the shooting. But because of misinformation and people not even watching the case, there's people that's going to disagree with me. But we have to be very careful at believing things outside of context and not having the full spectrum of information. But that's why I'm here. I corrected my wrong, ladies and gentlemen. You listen to the Officer Tatum Show. Catch me after the break.